Joining us via the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Seth, how are you this morning?
That life is wonderful. I mean, if there's any better, I couldn't stand myself. That's how good life is.
How entertaining has the Summer League been, and how does it compare to previous Summer Leagues?
It's been unbelievably entertaining, part of it because of the atmosphere and the environment. I mean, it's incredible, the turnouts that they've gotten. I mean, every game is an event, whether you're in the Cox Pavilion or whether you're in Thomas and Mack. The atmosphere and the ownership of people, it's been crazy. The games have been good. I mean, to me, the Summer League, you've got to understand, most of these guys are playing against guys that aren't going to be in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like all the numbers, people get so caught up in the numbers. The numbers are irrelevant. It's kind of how a guy plays. And I'll give you two examples. Malcolm Brogdon, Rookie of the Year, was 79th leading scorer in the Summer League last year. 79th leading scorer. Dorian Finney-Smith stats were horrific. He started 30-something games for Dallas Mavericks. So you got to take the stats with a grain of salt. Who figures it out? For the guys trying to get a contract, who's a fit guy? And is there a ball mover, a defender, a guy that has a niche role? And then for the rookies, they're learning how to play a totally new game. It's a totally new game. It's a totally different game from our college game. And there's a transition period, and that's why you saw the guys that have played the second year, like the guys who played in the league a year before and now are playing in the Summer League a second time. They're so far advanced because they understand the rules, the spacing, the concepts. But it's been good. I had a blast. It was a really good experience for me.
Who have you bought into that you think is going to translate into success in the NBA? Not just making a roster, but making an impact.
Dennis Smith I think is really going to be. To me, he's got a little Derrick Rose in him.
Now, see, I felt Dwayne Wade, like he takes it to the hoop. He's not afraid to bring on contact as well. But I thought Wade. You thought Derrick Rose?
Yeah, because he's more of a point guard. He really is. He's a willing passer. He sees plays. He can get in the lane and make others better. He'll pitch it out to the three. He'll finish to contact. Not as big as Wade. Explosive. I mean, explosive first step. You got to remember, going into his senior or his freshman year at NC State, he was coming off an ACL. He didn't play at all his senior year of high school. The first time he played in high school was going into his last year. He played at the Adidas Nations, going to his freshman year of college. So that was the first time he had to sit out a full year with an ACL. So we didn't see the best of Dennis Smith in college, but he had some terrific games. I mean, he had the triple-double against Duke. He was phenomenal. But he's going to be really a special player. Donovan Mitchell was probably the surprise so far as the 13th pick. He had 37 the other day at the game I did. And it's not the points. It's his presence. He's going to be a legitimate NBA defender guarding the better players. He's got a toughness about him. Shot it a little bit better than I thought, a better passer than I thought. The best player in the Summer League is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, Danny Ainge made the right decision for his team. Jason Tatum is going to average 15 to 17 points a game in the NBA as a rookie. He just, the guy is wired to score. I mean, he's got a great feel how to score. And, Josh Jackson's had its moments. There's no doubt about it. Lonzo Ball's had his moments. But, again, I don't put a lot into the stats in the Summer League because they're really all empty stats.
Yeah, you mentioned Mitchell with the Utah Jazz, Smith Jr. with the Dallas Mavericks, Tatum, of course, Boston traded out of that number one spot. We haven't seen enough of Markelle Fultz. We won't see anything until the preseason. Lonzo Ball last night with 32. And I agree with you that we're going to get caught up that he scored 32. Now, I do take note of it because I don't expect him to get those kind of numbers. Or 36. I just loved watching how he ran the show. That are you a leader? Are they listening to you? Are you finding the open man? The feel that I got when I was watching Lonzo Ball, that's something that is not taught, and that does transition to being a successful pro.
Yeah, that definitely translates. Look, he creates an epidemic of passing. He sees plays before they happen, so he gets the ball out early. It's almost like a quarterback in a hurry-up offense or a spread offense that he gets rid of the ball early so that the guy that can catch it and make a play.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball in transition especially, he advance passes the ball about as good as anyone. And therefore, if you got big wings that can make plays, like, again, when Ingram gets healthy and those type of things, he's getting them to the ball in places that he can make plays. Now, the improvement he made yesterday first few games he was thinking pass so much he was putting no pressure on the defense. So, like, when he gets downhill, he's got to score a little bit or people are going to start just playing those passing lanes.
Yep.
So his ability to get 22 shots was a good thing. Never going to be a three-point shooter. It takes a little long to get off, but he is an elite passer, and I think he's easy to play with. Certain guys are hard to play with. He's easy to play with. Now, I do have concerns defensively, but offensively, I think his transition will be pretty seamless.
Can you do anything with that? We had Steve Alford on a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him if he ever thought about changing that shot with Lonzo Ball. When he has time to shoot, then I think he can knock down shots. He's never going to be consistent, but what would you do if you were coaching him?
You don't want to make the comparison. Remember when Magic came into the league?
Yeah.
How slow he got that thing off?
Yep.
Look, where it impacts him, it's not going to impact him on plays where he gets a kick back out to him on double teams or on ball reversals, on closeouts. It's going to impact him a little bit when he gets in a ball screen and a big switches on him. He's going to have to step back to create space to shoot that because he shoots it low and across his face, and it impacts him in his middle game. So if he can't get to the rim and get one of those runners that he really is good at, can he get to a spot off a ball screen in a short clock, elevate, and make a shot? I think that's going to be where it's going to be impactful. But these guys, now when they go to the league, they have a job, and that's all they work on. And he'll be in the gym working on that. I don't think you're going to change his shot. You'd like to see him get it a little higher in his release point, but you can't totally change his shot because you don't want him thinking. That kid is an instinctful player.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to let him go.
Yeah, the cross the body, and I always thought as a right-handed defender is going to have a chance at that shot because he puts it in front of you when you put your strong hand up there. Yep. to cover him, but I do like the feel that he has when he's on the floor. A lot of fun there. Is there somebody? If I said you can have the number one pick out of all of these kids of what you've seen, would you still go Jason Tatum?
Yeah, I would. And it's funny because way back I said I thought he was the most NBA ready. His game, the game's a game of scoring. Like like you watch Golden State Warriors, you got to get to 125 to beat them.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You need guys who can make shots and have versatility offensively. And the way the new NBA is with quote-unquote positionalists, I just say you got a bunch of guys that can play and understand how to play. But we love these little sayings. He fits because you can play him at 3 and 4, although struggle guarding 4, and play him even at 2. You can post him. He can play off the lane. He's got a little bit Carmelo in him in terms of he's a very good isolation player. He can pick and pop and space you and drive you. He's crafty. Is what he is. He's just really crafty. So in a scorer's world of the NBA, I think it makes sense. And I think the other thing is that they've got some veterans around them. And, the interesting thing to me about them, you've watched it a lot longer than I have. NBA players now, they want to win. Like they want to win. Like they'd like to win, but they're willing to take less money. They're creating these conglomerates. You see veteran players going to teams with talented young players as mentors. The maturity and the atmosphere around the Summer League, I think, is very different than, say, it was 5 years ago. There's a professionalism. Vince Carter wanting to go to Sacramento or going to Sacramento at 41 years of age to mentor those young players. What's going on in Minnesota? With Jimmy Butler and Teague and the talent to complement the young players. But how Golden State has been able to stay together because, I think really David West kind of creates a little bit of that in terms of giving up millions of dollars to be in a good situation. Now, the money's crazy, and guys have made a crazy amount of money, but to me, the professionalism and the environment around the NBA is so good right now. The vibe is so good.
Final 30 seconds here. If it's true that Melo ends up with Houston, it didn't go well with Mike D'Antoni and Melo in New York. So what would be different about the reuniting in Houston?
He's going to have better pieces around him, and he's going to have James Harden saying, you know what, give this guy a chance because it works. The one concern for me with Melo in Houston is you improved yourself defensively with Chris Paul in the backcourt with Harden. You've improved yourself in terms of not turning the basketball over because Harden averaged 4 turnovers a game. You put Paul with him, it takes pressure off of both of them. who does Melo guard, and can you keep the ball moving, with Melo? Because he's going to have to buy into that, space and pace type game of Mike D'Antoni. I think he will, and it'll really open the court for Paul and Harden to get in the lane and make plays.
Great stuff as always, Seth. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your summer.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Anytime, please.
All right, Seth Greenberg. He's a sharp dude. Love him breaking down college basketball and certainly what he's seen in the Summer League. He comes courtesy of the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Continental Tire, the official tire of Major League Soccer. Soccer fans expect peak performance on the pitch, also demand peak performance on the street. That's why Continental has built a tire for what you do, whether you're heading to the game, taking the kids to practice, or going for a kick around the block. Continental Tire has engineered a line of tires that includes the best-in-class wet braking and superb handling. Continental Tire, proud supporter of the Dan Patrick Show. Visit ContinentalTire.com for more.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.